Hey, Honesties. Welcome back to another episode of Honesty Though Podcast, where I keep it raw, keep it real, keep it risky. I'm your host, Zena. Woohoo! And today's episode is spicy. It's going to be fun. It's risky, as I just said. And my guest is no stranger to the show. You've probably seen him on social media causing a frenzy because he says a lot of wild things, but that's his life, right? And that's his lifestyle, and that's what he does. So
Right.
welcome. He is a pleasure specialist, pleasure and intimacy specialist.
Ooh,
Sir Marvelous.
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me back.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. I plan on being a little bit unapologetically honest and transparent today. So
Because you're an honesty though.
I'm
And he
looking
brought the
forward to
toys
that.
out.
Oh, yeah, always, definitely. You got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready, right?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I came ready. I'm always ready. So I hope you're ready.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Mm.
So do you. Well, you look handsome.
I can't be beautiful?
No.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely
I'll
not.
take it.
There are very few men I find beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And they got to be like sculptures,
Sculptures? I'm going to work on it. See me in another year. I'll get there.
I'll be the judge of that. But the suit is suiting.
Thank you.
So let's get into today's show. Okay. I'm gonna start off with my fast five of this or that.
Okay.
Right. I ask you 5 questions. You give me a preference.
Mm-hmm.
I might keep it pushing or I might further investigate.
All right. I like the sound of that.
All right. Let's go. Would you rather use a flogger or a paddle?
Oh, good question.
Mm.
That's a hard. I'm gonna go with flogger. I'm gonna definitely
Why?
go with flogger.
Wait, what's the flogger? Do you have one here today?
Absolutely. So those with the long tassels are floggers, and the metal one just happens to be a metal one. You can grab any one of the floggers you like.
I'm gonna grab the longest one.
Grab the gold one.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
This-
flog, yeah. Sometimes the texture alone provides an experience that can be amazing. So the reason I'm going to choose flogger is because I can simply just drag that across a person's naked body, and again, when you combine that with blindfolds, vibrators, dirty talk, you don't even actually have to hit them with it before they start going crazy.
I get that. I
Mhm.
can see you tickling, little tickle
Exactly.
tease.
Exactly.
I'm so excited that that wasn't my first questions. I was supposed to ease my way into this.
Okay.
Clearly, Zena's excited.
Mhm.
Second question. Would you rather have a fast forward button on your life or a rewind button?
Oh, definitely a rewind button.
Ooh, why?
If I can rewind with the knowledge that I have today, I would definitely replay certain situations.
For the better outcome?
For a better outcome, more pleasure, of course. All of the things, all of the above. I mean, and some some self-centered ideas too.
I'm gonna let you keep those to yourself for now.
I'm a villain. I tend to be a villain in my dreams.
Me too. I try not to be, but that's just what happens, and I've accepted it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather someone who is fearless in the dungeon, so they're open to anything that you're willing to show them,
Mhm.
or someone who's a little more challenging because they're a little scared, more reserved?
That is a beautiful question. You memorize these questions?
I'm trying my best.
You are made for this shit. That's an excellent question because they both have pros and of course I'm sure you can imagine some cons as well. I probably would go with a little bit more apprehensive on the nervous one.
Mhm.
Am I allowed to expand on that?
Yes, please do.
I
want
feel
you
like
to.
that one would yield more to learn from, right? Or more to develop myself from. I love the idea of showing or introducing someone to something that they thought they would never enjoy or that they find fearful. And then when they have a better understanding of it, they are more likely to enjoy that thing. But if a person is just with it and just anything goes, so to speak, there's no challenge for me. There's nothing to gain from me. It's
You
just
can't really teach them, right?
right. And I don't learn anything about how I can teach better,
Yeah.
So I definitely would go with the latter.
Okay. FYI, that was my producer's question. I have a producer.
Yeah.
He does his thing. My job is to remember.
Yeah, shout out to the producer. Yes.
So I'll try my best.
It's a great question. Great question.
Okay. Are you a giver or a receiver?
Mm.
Would you rather give or receive?
I'd rather receive.
Ooh.
However, I am more of a giver because I hope to earn the things that I wish to receive.
Hold on. I'm a little mind fucked. You hope to earn the things that you wish to receive.
Yes.
Expound. I kind
So-
of get it, but like,
So we live in a world where there are so many selfish lovers, right? So many people that just want to sit back and get their dick sucked or get massaged or rubbed or treat me like a king, but like they're not doing anything to please their women or their partners in general. But I wish to earn the opportunity for me to lay back. There's nothing better than when you like rock a woman's world or, give her a feeling of pleasure she's never received before. And all she wants to do is reciprocate. If you want a woman to suck your dick, make her come like she's never came before. And she's be like, yo, no, this time is my turn.
what if you make her, what if you do your best work and she's just not it?
Oh, then she's trash. She's trash. If somebody like does something amazing for you and genuinely cares to make sure that you're experiencing whatever it is amazing. If a part of you doesn't want to reciprocate that, then you trash.
What, like you're selfish or maybe,
and that's okay too. Maybe somebody likes selfish people. I don't like them though.
Me either. Stay away from me. Would you rather? You might remember having this conversation last time you were on the show.
Oh, God.
Would you rather watch your partner have sex with someone else or you be watched while having sex with someone else?
Oh, my favorite answer is always going to be, I love the idea of watching my woman get fucked.
Really?
Yes. Hell fucking yeah. It's so empowering. It's different. It's taboo. For me, it turns me on because we can use that energy at another time. I mentioned on this podcast before that I identify what I used at the time was the word cuckold, but that wasn't the proper term now that I've learned
Really?
more. Yeah, and more of a stag. So cuckold leans more towards the bisexual stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but
just not you.
That's just not me. I'm more of the type that I don't want to be humiliated or any of those things, but I really like the idea of watching her get fucked, and then, bring me that used pussy when you're done. Yeah. But, yeah.
Wait, you want it right away? You want it back to back?
I want it back to back. Yeah, I want it
Seriously?
get over here.
God
Get
damn,
the fuck
you're
over here.
a special man.
No, but women do it all the time, and women don't get the credit for it. A man will ask for a threesome on Valentine's Day, Christmas, birthdays, fucking special days, special holidays. But I let a woman dare to be like, yo, I was always fantasizing about just one time.
Yeah.
Come on, stop it.
Honestly though, I always used to say like, oh, having sex with two men at the same time, it's a trade. But there was one time I was like, maybe it's not.
Yeah. It's all about the experience. You can make it a trade. So the terminology, I hate when people get caught up on terminology because it's based on experience, right?
Yeah.
If you want it to be a train, a motherfucker could wear a conductor hat and make it a train.
Choo-choo.
Right.
Choo-choo
Literally. You know what I'm saying? But, or it could be about prioritizing your pleasure. It could be all about two men worshiping you, kissing you all over your body, making you feel like you the fucking goddess that
that's
you
what
are.
I envisioned.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? One time for the one time. And shit might happen again. But the reality is that if it's something that you want to get off your chest and you can do it in a consensual and safe way, you know what I mean? If it doesn't violate the boundaries of your relationship, then by all means, I think people should explore the things that they fantasize about in a safe way, of course.
I agree.
So.
I agree. I'm saying last time that clip had the internet going crazy. They're like, what man wants that? He's not a man. Yada, yada, yada. It's like, damn, can y'all open your minds a little bit?
Yeah,
like,
and those people aren't even having good sex as it is.
That's what it's vanilla.
And they want it, it ain't even about, let's say that. Let's just go with that.
That's the term we use, right? So I do want to know, what have you been up to since you were last here? Like, I've seen you on a lot of other shows. I won't name them because honestly, though, like, why would I do that,
right? So, as you mentioned, I've definitely been on quite a bit of other shows, and I've been touring. I've been traveling the States. I have an upcoming trip to Jamaica where we're hosting. We're not hosting, but we're part of the entertainment for a group that's traveling out there called Missy King's Travel.
Okay.
So they're going to Hito. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Have you been?
Absolutely not yet.
So think about a beautiful place in Jamaica, an island where people are able to be free, naked, sex positive, and enjoy whatever they choose to engage in at that moment. I'm going to be there, flogging people on the beach, giving massages, doing fire play, teaching classes. I mean, it's going to be a vibe. So
When is this?
this is going to happen in August.
Damn, why
So,
couldn't it be September? We're just like 1 month away
1
from
month.
my birthday.
It's gonna be amazing, but it's gonna be so many more events. That's the idea. I want to do more international things. So Jamaica happens to be the first one. I'm getting paid to go to Jamaica, getting flued out as
You
a
gotta
professional.
float
You know what I'm saying? Like it's an amazing experience. So it does make me feel really proud and happy to be able to say things like that. You know what I mean? For work, of course.
Yeah.
Work purposes. Right.
You gotta put that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But also I've launched a coaching program. So if people are interested in learning about kink, the lifestyle, have questions, they just want some kink homework or, some masturbation instructions and things of that nature.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. So what I've learned with my experience is that especially women are more mentally stimulated when it comes to, or need more mental stimulation when it comes to sexual activation or initiation, so to speak. So a lot of the times, women just want to be spoken to in a particular type of way. They want to be told what to do as it relates to their sexual sides and things of that nature. So sometimes giving a woman instructions on how to play with herself or how not to touch herself, things of that nature can be a big turn on. So it's an opportunity for people to have a virtual experience without having to come all the way to the dungeon, even though they wish they could. So, that's an option. But also there are a lot of men and couples in my coaching program that are just there to learn different ways to spice up their intimacy. They want to know how to go to their first sex party together or any type of event that's sex positive in general.
Is it like awkward sometimes working with couples? Like, I don't know. I imagine it. I've been watching Sex in the City, right? On Netflix. And sometimes I think like you might have a partner who's more open-minded, who wants to try these things, right? And someone who's maybe a prude and she's not so, he or she is not so willing to try or open, right? So it's kind of like, how do you navigate through those couples to make that person comfortable to the idea?
That's an amazing question. So that makes me think of an experience that I had not too long ago where I was working with a couple, and the man was he was the one that actually hit me up to inquire about booking a session for both of them. So just to be clear, coaching sessions happening online, virtually, and person sessions are basically when the couple comes to the dungeon or wherever I'm located on that tour, and I do a BDSM experience on the woman while the man watches and or participates, right? But for the very first session, I always recommend that the person is just hands off so they can see what I'm fully capable of and what it should look like without any interruption. The second session or third or whatever ones y'all want to book, that's when we're able to double team the woman together, give her fantasies, recreate whatever things she's always wanted to think about. But the first one, again, is more so a hands-on while you watch and ask questions and things of that nature. So he was like, yeah, I want to give my woman the Black Touch experience, which is a website that we're on. We have plenty of videos on Black Touch. And he was like, I want to book the Black Touch experience for my wife. And he was super ecstatic about it. We did the consultation with him and his wife. And I'm like, oh, this is like one of the guys that's really, really excited. So we get to the dungeon. Still super excited. We start the session. It goes amazing, but it goes to that point where like all of my sessions, it gets really fucking intense. And she's coming and I'm giving her affirmations and she's squirting all over the place and she starts crying and just being grateful. All she just kept saying was, thank you so much. Thank you. I never felt like this in my life. And and I'm just locked in. I'm just locked in at the moment. So because literally I turned into like a superhero in this moment. I'm not really paying attention to anything else but what's happening at that moment, right? And at the end, when after the aftercare and it's time for the woman to shower, he was just talking to me, sitting in the room, and he was just like, yo, I don't think I'm built for this shit. I don't think I'm built for this shit. That was intense.
Hold on. How are you the one who booked this entire experience? Say what you wanted, but you don't think he's built for this. Why?
Well, it was intense. It was something that he's never seen his wife be able to experience. I was talking to his wife like she's been there before. I'm like, spread it, fix it, stick it up higher. You know what I mean? I'm talking to, and she's just like, yes, sir. Just getting with it. I'm like, oh God. But I like that because, when you move with confidence, and this is whether I'm working with a couple or not, it just goes over better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, excuse me, can you move your leg?
Yeah,
No, fix your leg. Don't make me tell you again. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. And she's just going with it. And not to mention like the orgasm parts and the intensity as it relates to the spankings and things of that nature. But to get back to your question, the way that I was able to deal with it was I immediately harped on and I was like, bro, anything that you saw happen today, I can teach you how to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I do that can't be learned. I'm not a superhero. I don't have an extra limb. None of that shit.
I do need to interject because when you're showing, like, do you get to like have sex with them?
No. So there's no sex in my BDSM experiences.
Okay.
It's strictly for things that are like the BDSM tools and things of that nature.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Finish.
Oh yeah, no. But so I was explaining to him like there's nothing that I'm doing that you cannot learn. You know what I mean? Every single thing, even the fire play, which is probably the most amazing part of the session, visually. You're like, oh my God, he's putting fire on her pussy and on her nipples and all this other stuff. But I'm like, bro, it's not even out. And I'm gonna show you what the fire feels like in a second. But
I cannot wait.
but it's amazing. It feels good, but it's not complicated.
Okay.
And when you understand it, it's even less complicated, when you see it, but it still looks amazing. You know what I mean? It's just it's an illusion trick.
I can see that because I do think, and I'm not an arsonist or anything like that, but I do love the colors of fire, like the orange and the blue, like that.
Especially in a dark setting.
Yeah, it's very appealing visually, so I can understand where that.
I'll be looking like a superhero. I'm telling you. I use fire. I use electricity. I use water. I use a knife play. I mean, there is pretty much no element that I do not use in my session, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, you should.
I'm just figuring out a way to scrap it all to me like a Batman utility belt or some shit like that. I mean, walking into the parties with fire on my hip, like, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, I'm serious about that shit.
Listen, you better trademark that because that could be a thing, okay? I do want to ask you, you consider yourself to be a pleasure coach, pleasure and intimacy coach, right? What's the difference between that and BDSM? Like, is there a difference?
No, in my opinion, of course, because there are many different ways that you can approach pleasure, right? One of the biggest things that we need to start doing is stop looking at sex as identified as only the penetration part, where dick goes inside vagina. The reality is foreplay is sex.
Yeah.
And for so many people, the best part of the entire experience is the foreplay for them, and I'm talking about men and women. There are so many different things that we can do to pleasure men, which I need to speak a lot about more.
Please do, because I mean, I don't know that I'm lying. I'm shy.
Don't be shy. This is the time.
I do feel like a lot of men, like, there's a stigma, right? Like, if you like certain things, then you're bisexual or, not on the straight side, right?
If you like prostate play or somebody playing with your butt, licking your butt, sticking a finger in your butt, all that good shit.
Yeah.
No, that's not gay. I mean, so many people are going to try to lean towards it, but if you're doing something with a woman, how can it be gay?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if you are acting out certain fantasies and things of that nature, you're still acting that out with a woman. But the reality is that a sexual act doesn't define your sexuality. Who you engage with kind of does, and some people would argue that doesn't. But when I mentioned extra pleasure for men or different ways of pleasure men, I wasn't only moving towards like butt play or prostate play, because that's another misconception. There's so many different things you can do that surrounds the other parts of the body that avoid the asshole completely.
Like what? Give me some.
So when's the last time you've warmed up some coconut oil and dripped it on your man's penis while giving him a 2-hand massage?
Never.
All right. When's the last time you've used a massage gun on the mound of his of his dick, right above where his dick begins, while you jerk him off or talk and give him affirmations? When's the last time you've like put him on a
What have I been doing? It's hardly nothing.
They're like, you know what I'm saying? Just
So tell me when's the last time I what? Put him on the what?
So there, you can look up on Pornhub or even on Twitter. You can look up milking videos. That's just when you're being very deliberate. Yeah, he's laughing. He's laughing. He likes the idea of it. You know, it's when you're being very deliberate and attentive as it relates to giving his attention to his penis without even having to use your mouth. You know what I mean? Learning how to stroke a dick really, really good is going to like elevate the pleasure you can give to a man so much more. So many women think it's about deep throating or how much spit you can gather. You don't need to be spit. You could use coconut oil, warm that shit up and make it a sensational experience.
I've used cheesecake before. A key lime pie. A vegan key lime.
Oh, you know, you can listen if it's okay because again, our penises tend to be a little bit more less sensitive than a woman's vagina. So, for example, I wouldn't use key lime pie to eat pussy, right?
Yeah, no.
But, you know, for the penis, you can, and you could clean out the outside and you could go back to playing like you would normally play penis and vagina. But there's so many different things. You can do colder temperatures. You can have, for example, that metal flogger. Grab that for me for just a second, please.
Yes, please.
You could put something like that in the freezer. You know what I'm saying? And you can drip the warm oil on his penis and then drag the cold flogger across his penis and just go back and forth with cold and warm sensations. Maybe, I'm sorry, I keep mentioning the penis. What about like the nipples or the lower back or the neck or the balls or just using your nails? I know a lot of women tend to like to get their nails a little bit longer. So if you learn how to gently and sensually, you know, just trace your nails along the like where his gooch is, up his balls and up his shaft. That alone can drive a man insane, you know? So
it's exciting.
And these are things, believe it or not, that I do to the women in my sessions. I always try to tell people that everything that I do, even the penetration part for those men who enjoy penetration, can be done to a man. So fire play, spankings, the knife play, the temperature play, all of that, blindfolds, rope, you know what I'm saying? And of course, for those who are into penetration, you could even use, penetration toys. So like they're learning to do those types of things will start eliminating certain erection issues. So many men have issues with maintaining erections, not because they have health issues or anything, but sometimes when you've been in a relationship with a person for a long period of time, the same things that used to stimulate you just don't get you there to the same degree as it used to. And a big part of that reason is because we get so lost in the fact that we need to have a hard dick that it creates even more anxiety. But when you realize that there's a million other things that I could do that doesn't require my dick to be hard, it eliminates certain anxiety. And guess what? Now all of a sudden your dick starts to come alive. So, you know, understanding that. And the same thing for a woman. You know, so many women feel like they got to be ready for the penetration part of sex because he's ready to stick his dick inside of me. But the reality is, when you know, like, yo, I got at least 30 minutes and or not even having a time frame, but like, I know that my man is the type of man or partner is the type of partner that is going to, you know, elongate this journey, you know, and make me wait till I'm fully ready.
Yeah.
I won't feel pressured. I won't feel the anxiety of my pussy is not, you know, super lubricated at this moment or I'm not fully, you know, turned on at the moment and I'm not ready for penetration. That anxiety starts to eliminate when you realize that your partner is getting lost in pleasure in you in other ways.
Got it. So, I think as women, a lot of us, well, not me, but a lot of women may forget that nipples, like they have the same sensation, right? Whether it's on a man or woman. And I think exactly what you said, like a lot of people think it's just the penis that they can play with, you know, like even ears. I heard something about like the nostrils too. Like,
yes,
I used to like read these, what's not the tantric, what's the other one?
The cosmetology or astrology?
No, what's that word? It's the Indian, whatever. I'll put it in, right? But I used to read those when I was like 16. Don't ask me why. Yes, Kama Sutra. Thank you, T. I used to like look into those books and they would tell you like there's different nerve endings in like your nostrils.
you can play with a person's fingertips. Remember, our fingers are extremely sensitive. We use them to test for safety in so many different ways. You can tie a person up and just play with their fingertips. And as you provide more intention and you elongate things, because so many people will be like, oh, play with my fingertip, or they do this, and like, that don't turn me on. Do that shit for 10 minutes, slow, while you're talking to the person and you're threatening them in a good way, in a sexy way, about how much you're going to do to them and how bad you want them and how long you've wanted them, things of that nature. When you combine other stimulations with some of the most simplest acts, you can really drive a person insane. So yes, the nipples are a way to talk to our other genitalia. So like your nipples, a lot of times, if you get enough nipple play, your pussy is going to start to feel it.
Yeah.
And the same thing for a man. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't only have to be the nipples or the penis or the asshole. Like, I've literally played with people's lower back, and they were like, yo, I've never felt that. Or, for a man that's like, as crazy as it seems, for the men that go to the gym and have crazy leg days, you'd be surprised how good and satisfying a leg massage feels. You know what I mean?
Really?
And yeah. When they ask a man after leg day how he feel,
I mean, I work out, so I know how
yeah.
it feels
So
after
rub that
leg
calf,
day.
put a massage gun on that calf. The intention, or attention and intention, is what turns people on.
That's what I was gonna say next, right? Even like with the touching, whether it's just the lower back, the fingertips, as you said, it's the intent behind it. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people miss that, right?
Right.
Because a lot of people are so focused on just the penetration. The intention is not, this is a part of foreplay,
Yes.
right? More people need to start doing some more foreplay before sex. I do want to ask you, how did you get into this, and like, what
Yeah.
made you decide that you want to make this not just your lifestyle, but also like make a career, make a living out of this?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to shorten this story as best as I can.
Make a long story short.
Long story short, as they say, right? So I always tell the story about, I was dating a woman when I was younger. I was in my teenage years, and I used to come fast every time that we would have sex, and I was looking for a way to last longer in bed. So I went on Google and I was looking for different tips, but it ended up leading me to people, or I should say women, speaking about their experiences with men. And a lot of these women were married women who were always complaining that, like, they're not experiencing orgasms during sex. And the only way that they were able to give themselves an orgasm was when they were playing with their vibrators. So I kept seeing that happen over and over again. And what I did was, I went down to the village and I brought my first vibrator, and I used it during sex with my partner at that time. So I'm literally penetrating her with my dick, and I got the vibrator on her clit, and she's going crazy, like coming like she's never came before.
Wait, how old are you? 16?
I was about 16, 17 years old at that time.
What
And
the?
yeah.
I mean, I was reading comments. So
Exactly. Exactly. And me being at a young age, I'm like a kid in a candy store. All I want to do is keep pressing the button to make more candy come out, right? And so immediately when I seen that reaction, I was just so enamored by what I was seeing, that the last thing I was thinking about was coming. Like, I was it was just so distracted by the, like, oh my God, I'm the man. My ego, everything was like, but I also noted to myself, I need to find out more about toys. If one random toy, because that toy wasn't even an intentional one I brought, I was too young to even go inside the sex store.
Yeah.
I had to pay somebody to go in there and buy me a random vibrator. I was like, excuse me, can you buy me a vibrator?
You didn't even get to choose.
I didn't even choose it.
Color, the size.
Nothing.
There's so many different. There's a bunny. There's so many different vibrators. They're not just one size fits all.
It was literally like a roll of the dice, and he came out, and next thing you know, I went to work with it the next time I seen her, and I immediately said, I gotta buy more toys. It took me a while before I eventually started to buy more, but I knew from that moment that if one toy can do this, I need to figure out what the other ones are.
Imagine.
Right. Yeah. So fast forward, I end up entering the swing lifestyle by going to my first party, and I started to go to more parties, and I came across this guy. His name is Sir Daniel, and I see him performing at a party that I was at, and he had a table of toys, and women lined up ready to like get a demonstration next. And I was like, I never thought to bring my toys to a party. I don't know why I didn't think that. And I said to myself, the next time that I come, I'm going to put on a show similar to that. And it turned into something that I just kept doing and over.
At this point?
Oh, shit. I was very young. I was like maybe like 21, 22 years old.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And I started bringing my stuff to parties and things of that nature. And I started to put on a little bit of a show, and I realized that it was it was not as available, or like what I was doing wasn't easily accessible to so many people. People hadn't seen it. People haven't. So many women are not even used to men being open to use toys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then I come from a business background. At that time, I already had a lot of experience with doing sales and marketing and things of that nature. And next thing you know, it was like I needed to make this a business. So, yeah.
Here you are. And can I ask, how did you get the name Sir Marvelous? So I'm learning, right? Because I heard you say Sir Daniel.
Yes.
So I'm guessing like Sir is the Dom part.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about the Marvelous part.
So it's a play on my name, Marvin.
Oh.
So, but the Sir has two parts. So I'm a huge chess fan, chess fanatic. I'm a few points away from being a master, though that's going to take a lot of points.
Wait, can you teach me how to play chess? Because
I'm launching a program called Pawns and Paddles, where women are going to be able to come into the dungeon and play in chess tournaments that are kinky. So if you lose a game, you're going to get spanked and things of that nature, have certain rewards for winning and things like that. The winner of the tournament might get like a session from me in front of all the other girls and things. I'll figure out
like
fun.
This.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You're going to have to bring your schoolgirl outfit though.
Oh, I got a few. I mean, all right, let me stop my shot.
But yeah, so the Sir is two parts. So I'm a huge chess fan, but I also am a big fan of the medieval times. Like I have swords in my dungeon. I have like knights uniforms and things of that nature. And one of my fantasies is to role play as a knight with an actual horse and the castle and do all the things and live out like a sexual fantasy to some degree. And I actually had experienced a party at a castle. Are you familiar with Mistress Marley?
No.
Okay, well, Mistress Marley is somebody you definitely need to have on your show.
Oh, yes. I've heard the name.
Yes.
I've heard the name. Yes.
Yeah, and but she's
done a lot of podcasts.
Yes, yes, and she throws an annual party that she calls the castle event, and literally she buys out a castle and everybody stays there for 3 days, and just lives out their fantasies and shit like that. So I love the idea of being a knight. So the Sir is part of that, but also yes, the dominant part, and Marvelous is the play off the name Marvin.
Do women ever like tell you like this was marvelous?
Oh,
just to,
yes.
like,
They use the word way more than I do. Like I 2024, I'm moving into my cocky phase. Not arrogant, but I need to be more confident and slightly more cocky with like living in my moment, because I don't want to be 60, 70 years old. So back in my days, I used to be a good pro down. Like, no, like I need to like this is my LeBron era, this is my Kobe era, so to speak. And I need to move with that energy. You know what I'm saying? And start saying things like, yes, this is marvelous. This is what I do. And
like, own it, claim
own that shit, claim it, right?
Have the names.
Right.
Kinda like walk in that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm no longer in that era where I have to prove what I'm capable of anymore. You know what I mean? And even with the word that I used to use a lot to try to describe what I wanted to be was humble. But a good friend of mine's, my assistant, not a good friend, my assistant and a good friend of mine's, she told me like the true definition of humble is to lower oneself.
Please, let's talk about it. Yeah.
And that's not what we want to do. We shouldn't want to have to lower yourself for anybody. You know what I mean? So we need to get rid of the idea that humble is the way we should be. There's a difference between being arrogant and annoying and things of that nature, but to truly believe in yourself to the point where you move with confidence and you be like, I got this shit.
Yeah.
It's a whole different energy. It
is. That's a fact. Like you can be modest. That's how I feel about it, right? Hold on 1 second. You're fine. Baby, you better not fuck this up. I will strangle you personally in a sexy way. Me. Camera on me. Perfect. It's funny, right? Because when you mentioned at 21, you started going to these parties and bringing your toys out, right? And I was like, sheesh. I'm being a hypocrite because at 21, so I was dating this guy. He was 35, right? I actually thought he told me he was 31 because I'm like, 10 years is my limit, nothing more, right?
Yeah.
Later on, I found out he was 35. And I remember like being introduced to toys in the bedroom with a man, right? I've never really been into toys, honestly speaking, like vibrators. Like, I'm like, I just prefer the real thing.
Yeah.
But I remember he brought in a ball gag, and I was like, "What the fuck
Oh.
is that?" Like, but also I'm open minded. I'm a trisexual, so I'll try anything
Oh, I
once,
like
right?
that. Yes.
So we use it, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like I kind of like this because I was so loud all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had a roommate, and he's kind of like, "You need to keep it down." And like the rebel is kind of like, "No, I'm not gonna keep it
He's
down."
like,
So
put this smaller gag in your mouth.
yeah, that was the way he introduced it to me. And some other things,
Hmm.
right? And I'm not gonna divulge everything because
Right.
that's my past.
Yes, yes.
But that is like how I learned, I guess, to be more explorative with
Hmm.
sex. And also like he was into like the butt play,
Hmm.
which at that time I was like, I cannot do this because I mean, think it's like a shock to me, honestly
Yeah,
speaking,
yeah.
right?
And not just men. Men are not the only ones that are like opposed to, or like, they do this when it comes to the idea for butt play.
Mhm.
Women are think the same way because they are trapped in the idea that, like, oh, if I do this to my man, like I'm demasculating him
Mhm.
or emasculating him or whatever. And could this mean he's gay, or he wants to be gay or something
Yeah.
like that? When the truth is he's in tune with his body.
Mhm.
When the truth is he's open and he's confident in who he is. And in fact, you know what I'm saying? It might be he might be more confident or into you to be able to trust you to be able to explore that with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you'll notice as men get up in ages, they tend to stop caring about the opinions of others.
Mhm.
So yeah, at 21, that man is like, oh, I'm not never, never, ever. And the same thing with a woman that's 21 years old. But 35, 40-year old, like, I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks about me. If I like this shit, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
what I've
and that's
learned.
what we need. That's what being unapologetic is about.
Mhm.
Because you can do anything you want in privacy as long as consensual and safe. I would support it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was young and ignorant and like shocked, as I said,
And
but my
everything doesn't need to
mindset
happen at
opened.
once. So, like, you know what I mean? Maybe 21 wasn't your era to explore that. That's
It
also
wasn't.
okay too. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. There's things that I like, again. That's why when you ask me about that rewind button, I'm like, there would be things I would definitely rewind because I did not know what I did not know.
Mhm.
So
Mm. I do want to know, do you have any like favorite acts to perform? Like whether it's on your partner or whether it's like in a training session
mm,
that you know is gonna like drive that woman
I love double
crazy.
penetration. I love double penetration or even triple penetration.
Triple? How
Yes.
many holes we got?
Oh, we got at least three. I could probably find another one though.
Oh, you're right. There are three. I had to
So,
count for a second.
remember how I was mentioning that the nipples connect to the pussy, right?
Yeah.
So does the mouth and the throat.
Hmm?
If you fuck a woman's throat correctly, her pussy will respond.
What?
Yes, there are women that come from sucking dick or be gagging.
Yeah.
And of course she has to be turned on, she has to feel comfortable, and she has to feel like this is not something that's being violently done to her. But if you fuck a woman in her mouth while she's being fucked in her pussy, it will definitely double the pleasure for sure. And different ways that you can do that is you can buy like a dildo, you can stick it on the wall like the suction dildo,
Hmm.
and you can role play running the train on her or having two guys with her while you're fucking her and have her suck the dick, or you could put her on the edge of the bed and you could fuck her throat while you put the dildo in her pussy. But I promise you, I have a video on my loyal fans where I'm literally just fucking, Siphon's throat and she starts squirting.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Do you think this is because a lot of women do desire double penetration and maybe don't really know how to ask for it, whether it's like having two men present or just like maybe looked at it the way I did at one point, like, oh, it's you're running a train on me,
I
right?
wouldn't
Like,
say it has anything to do with desire. Does a woman desire a vibrator if it makes her come? You don't
yeah,
desire the
I don't know.
vibrator, you desire the sensation.
Oh, okay, you're right.
So, you know what I mean? So it may, again, like I mentioned, that particular she may never have sex with two men at the same time, but it doesn't take away from the fact that biologically speaking, in most cases,
Mhm.
if you stimulate certain parts of her body correctly,
Mhm.
sure, her body will respond. The same thing for a man, there's no man, at least no smart man or intelligent man, that's going to disagree that you can make a man come from his G spot, which is located in his prostate. Does that mean he desires it? Probably not. Doesn't mean that he's gay or he wants to be fucked in his ass or any. Probably not. But biologically speaking, his G spot is located in his ass, and if you know how to stimulate it properly and it's allowed to be done, he's probably gonna bust a nut.
Okay. Thank you for that clarity, because that's just where my mind went.
Again, when it comes to like even erectile issues, the one thing that I would recommend a man, if you tried the Viagra, the Cialis, the different things, and you just aren't able to maintain an erection or get the erection when you want, then maybe you should explore butt pay, because you can still experience pleasure.
Honestly, though, that man who introduced me to that ball gag and everything else that wasn't vanilla, I pegged him.
Okay.
And I was like, this is not for me. Like, I just can't, and it wasn't that he asked for it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a story real quick.
Oh, story time.
A little story time, right? He really wanted to have anal sex with me.
Yes.
I have a very tight anus, right? Like, I just don't like certain pain. I like pleasurable pain, right?
Gotcha.
And it just wasn't pleasurable. And I was like, I want you to feel how this feels when you do it to me, right?
Yeah.
And he was open to it. And, he pulled out Pandora's box, his box of toys.
He just so happened to have a strap on?
It was just a dildo.
Oh, okay,
I didn't strap him.
Okay.
I could not even. If he had one, I wouldn't.
I was about to say, maybe it was part of his plan the whole time.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, he's like, I just so happen to have a,
the strap on.
Right.
Because I wanted to be used, not just on you, but on me, And so I did it. And I was just so disturbed after, because again, I didn't know that their prostate, was in.
Did he come?
I didn't get that far.
Okay, gotcha.
I was like, all right, well, this is enough. We tried it. Yeah, you're still not doing that to me.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. Well, let me introduce interrupt your wisdom a little bit with a little bit of a teaching moment, right? So as much as I love the idea of telling people to be open to things, to try things, to explore things with people, a part of that process is negotiating and having conversations about things to make people feel comfortable and confidence, because confidence creates competence.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that when you have certain conversations with a person, you position them in a position of power to approach certain things like, oh my God, I can do this. Understanding, for example, some people biggest fear about anal sex is I don't want to make a mess. I don't want your shit on me. I don't want to shit on you. So how do we avoid that, right? Yeah. But also I want to know, how can I do this so that it's enjoyable for both parties, whether you're the person getting fucked or they're the person getting fucked. So exploring or learning together, reading books, watching videos, going to classes on how to properly stroke, because that's a great example you use. I want to let you know what I'm experiencing. So many people, so many women, as crazy as it may sound, think it's easy to pleasure a woman, not realizing that you don't have a good stroke game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Men that know how to pleasure a woman properly, it is fine-tuned, as a fine-tuned skill. Learning how to move your hips, learning how to be attentive to a woman's sounds and her body language and things of that nature, to know what direction to go in, or know when to hold something, when to go hard, when to pull back. All of that is a skill that is developed with education and experience.
Yeah.
But I would always push education a little bit more than experience, because you could spend 10 years making mistakes, or you can learn from a person's 10 years of mistakes in literally a week. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So the power of informing yourself, on how to do things properly. And when you eliminate the mess part of it, when you eliminate the pain part of it, how do I do this so that it's not painful?
Yeah.
So many women experience bad anal experiences because men are just trying to stick the dick in the ass.
Yeah.
And God bless them if they have a little bit of lube, right?
A little bit,
but
enough.
It takes more than lube. It takes more than lube. It takes the woman to be fully aroused. In most cases, I highly recommend she experience at least one or multiple orgasms first in her vagina before moving on to the ass, so that she's fully relaxed. Also, she has to be, you want to ease your way into it by getting her ass comfortable with stimulation that doesn't involve penetration. And one of the biggest mistakes and I'll stop it at this because I could go on and on, but one of the biggest mistakes that men use when they're trying to have anal sex with a woman, or vice versa, is they use the word relax.
Yeah, me too. But how?
Relax. And it's like when you tell somebody to do something, they want to do the opposite for some reason. So what you want to do is you want to tell them to squeeze their ass, tighten their ass. So when you put your finger on the ass or a butt plug close to the ass, not even penetrating, you want to tell them to squeeze it and hold it for a couple of seconds, because after that couple of seconds, guess what? Your fencer is going to loosen up.
You're
And then
right.
so if you try to clench your ass right now, and y'all can do it right now on
I am
camera.
doing it.
You can try to clench your ass. But it's butt so long you can clench it before it eventually is going to like relax. You can go
I'm
ahead.
a clencher.
Go ahead. But I guarantee you ain't gonna be able to do it for more than 60 seconds, if that. Most people can't do it more than 10 seconds long. You know what I'm saying? And what's gonna happen after they let it go is it starts to naturally open up and suck things in.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So understanding that is a great way to play on that. So I'll just tell them to keep squeezing it. And then eventually, without me even having to push it, it starts to suck in whatever toy or whatever finger or whatever, utensil I'm using at that moment.
Wow, he is so right. I literally just tested that the entire time you've been speaking, and yeah, the tightness.
And if you use a vibrator on the clit at the same time, I mean, that's just going to help have a healthy distraction.
You know what? Okay, maybe. Yeah, I you did. I like the point of like education and like having the conversation, right? Because again, it's like when you feel like you're being thrown into something without the proper knowledge. First of all, there's 1,001 questions I'm asking myself, like, am I doing this right? Like, is this pleasurable to him? Right? Or vice versa, if he doesn't really know. And so when I mentioned earlier that I used to read those Kama Sutra books, it was with my partner at that time. Like, because that was my first love. He took my virginity and everything. So it was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
And it was a fun time. You got to admit, that was dope. Yeah.
We saw the Barnes and Noble and like read these books, and people probably looking at us like, what the fuck are these two kids doing here? But it also created like that trust, because I know that you have knowledge on what you're doing, and vice versa. So we're more comfortable with each other.
And it creates anticipation and excitement, because now you guys, let's try this, babe. And now is that excitement of like, yo, I want to try this with you together.
Yeah.
And if by any chance something isn't going or flowing the way it should, maybe one of you guys have that extra knowledge, like, oh, it was supposed to be done like that. You supposed to put your leg here, babe. You know what I'm saying?
Fun. Like, learn it together.
You're doing it wrong. Nah, I'm joking. But it's still a journey, and that's when a lot of oxytocin is released in our system, when we have those moments of like excitement or accomplishment. You know what I mean? That dopamine as well, and those things can make us feel high and make the moment even more enjoyable.
That is very true. I want to get into your business.
Sure.
So I do want to know, like, I know you're used to like performing these acts on women, right?
Yes.
Are you ever open to having it done to you?
Yes. So part of my aftercare does include Siphon, my partner, doing things to me. A lot of the times she'll set up the massage table by the time I get home from the dungeon and just have a bunch of different utensils out. Maybe some days it might just be her running me a bubble bath. Other days it might be a bubble bath and a massage table experience. And when I get on that table, it starts with the massage, but it can escalate to whatever it is that I'm up for or she's up for at that particular moment. And it's different sensations. The last experience she gave me that was memorable, we had to put it in a jar.
A memory jar.
We got a sex memory jar.
What? Wait, hold on. So you write it down?
Yeah.
And, I love that. Like, I'm gonna let you tell it, but I'm gonna come back.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this because I'm always telling her business, but she's not here to tell me. Good trouble, of course. But no, she the last session she did on me was a milking session, where she gave me a beautiful massage. I want to create the ambiance because this is super important. People don't understand. You know what I mean? I walk inside the room. The massage table is out. She has a liberator sheet on top of it. She has candles lit. The lights are dim, but also turned a different color. She has music playing, a fireplace on the Roku television. You know what I'm saying? And And also the room smells good, it's clean, it's organized, all of that. So I'm walking into something that feels very intentional for me.
Yeah.
And she has a bunch of different things laid down from, different types of oils, because they smell different and they provide a different experience. So like you can have minty things, you can have like simple, like delicious smelling things. Like for example, those oils right there, one smells like lemon cake and the other one smells like pound cake.
I'm gonna smell
Go
both
ahead.
because
Go
I
ahead.
just need to know.
So having stuff like that can really increase your experience. So she had a bunch of different things laid out and some massagers and some vibrators and things of that nature. And does it smell good for you?
Ooh, I love cakes. So
Yeah.
it's called hot cake. Okay.
So, and you could put that on the dick, you could put that on the vagina.
They can
And
eat it?
yes, it's edible.
Hold on.
It's
I
edible.
actually want to taste this.
Not too much. That's good right there. Is it horrible?
No.
It's not horrible,
It
right?
tastes like the aftertaste of cake.
Yeah. So, when you have something like that, you get out the shower, you know what I'm saying, and you rub some of that on your balls or you rub that on your ass, you know what I'm saying? Like you become a little bit more edible, right? You laying next to a person, there's different ways to put on a mood. And again, I wouldn't recommend eating it like that. Just again, that might have been a little too intense.
No,
To be honest.
please don't do what I just
Don't do
did.
it.
Honestly,
but
though,
if you rub that in
wild.
and you're kissing on a person and licking on a person and they're tasting like that, it's very different than, drinking it straight out the bottle, right?
Yeah.
But like I was back to the scene that she did. She had a bunch of different things laid out. She gave me a massage, then she rolled me over on my back and she put some warm oil on my dick and was rubbing my chest while rubbing my dick and jerking me off. And she started telling me a story about one of her ex-partners that she used to call the anal king.
Ooh.
My girl loves getting fucked in her ass. So I was like, yeah, tell me more. And she was like, she told me this one of the stories of this memorable time that he fucked her in the ass. Mind you, she's jerking my dick with warm oil. I mean, it got the macaroni and cheese sound going the whole time. And she's telling me things. She's like, oh, and I'm like, she starts moaning as she's telling me the story as if she's fantasizing off of it. You know what I'm saying?
And she knows that you love.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's playing into my kink. She knows that I derive pleasure when I genuinely feel like I'm the person that I'm, engaging with is receiving pleasure. So, once that started happening, I came all in her fucking hand. I got in trouble because I was supposed to ask her for permission to come.
Oh yeah, you were.
Yes.
That makes
But
sense.
that was just an example of, our last session and the way that, some of the things could be done to me. She did temperature play on me. I had a blindfold. She had a massager on me. I believe she did knife play. I was blindfolded for a lot of it. So I'm just guessing what I was
What
feeling.
was used,
You know what I mean? She spanked me a little bit. It was good. And spanking is good for stimulating blood flow.
Yeah.
So so many people are wondering how to get, the vagina wet or how to get the dick hard, stimulate blood to go to that area.
Wait, is that why men usually tap their penis against the
little
clit
thing.
before?
Yeah. Tap that shit.
It's like, open up, I'm here.
Open up.
Daddy's home.
You know what I'm saying? It feels good, That's
God, I'm crazy. Just a little bit.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, man. If you got me thinking about her session again. Yeah. So
all right, don't get too excited now. Don't get too excited. I do want to ask, if you weren't with Siphon, can you see yourself being with a woman who's not into these things? So
no.
yeah, damn.
No. Why would I? That's crazy.
It's like torture because you're depriving yourself of something that you do enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, you said you like a challenge, right?
Yes.
You like women who are not so open, where you have to teach, right?
Yeah.
So how long would you be willing to teach? If they were open, all right, maybe like me, for example, when I started, I mean, what did I start? But at 21, I wasn't so open to these different kinks and, just different ways that a man can be pleasured and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So if she is maybe a little apprehensive, how much are you willing to teach?
Oh, I'm going to give it my best effort, and that's no way to quantify what that looks like. It just knows that I've tried my best, and what would turn me off if a person is just closed-minded.
Yeah.
They're like, ew, no, you know what I'm saying? If they don't understand something, never heard of it, never experienced something, that's different. Of course, I'm willing to teach you. And I do believe, and this is where I need to be cocky, I'm a great teacher.
Talk
I'm a
about
fucking
it.
awesome teacher.
Yeah.
So if I can't get through to you, maybe you just close-minded.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be some parts of this that are going to make sense. Because again, I'm a great fucking teacher. So maybe again, there are going to be things you don't care for, but you're not going to tell me that you just don't care about exploring pleasure for yourself and or for your partner in no way, shape, or form. All right, maybe knives are not your thing or fire is not your thing, but are you open to giving a massage? Are you open to warming up the lube like I told you a little bit earlier? Are you open to giving me affirmations while we're having sex? Are you open to receiving affirmations?
Yeah.
Imagine a woman's like, nah, don't tell me I'm beautiful. Like, I'm gonna be like, all right,
Like,
wait a
what
second.
woman doesn't want to hear that? Like, honestly, that I would love to hear I'm beautiful every time. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, if she's just, or that person is just, completely closed minded, then I'll be like, all right, enough is enough. But if they just never experienced this or seen it in the way that I want it done, or they have misconceptions about what it looks like, then, I'm open to teaching.
What makes you a good teacher?
I use a lot of good examples and analogies. I try to make everything a story so you can follow along and keep up with it, but also I give you practical examples of how you can use and do things. Even prior to being a pleasure educator, I was a teacher for almost 10 years. But I taught the game of chess. I ran my own chess company and business. So we would go into schools and start chess teams there and start chess programs and things of that nature. And as crazy as it sounds, what those topics, the topic of chess or the subject of chess and the subject of sex has in common through my experience is that they're both challenging subjects for the people that I was trying to teach. So when it came to kids, especially in the inner city, I'm trying to teach them chess. And, when they first hear, but I don't want to learn no goddamn chess. Where the basketball at? Where the football at? Where the da-da-da-da?
This is boring.
This is boring. I'm like, nope. We're going to be playing music. We got pizza. I'm giving out gift cards. I got rewards. I want y'all to gamble with the points that y'all win in my class. Like the top 3 people at the end of the month are going to receive a Visa gift card. Like there's mad shit going on in my class that makes it lit. And we're playing quickly. I'm not doing that slow, oh my God, 20 minutes to make one move. I'm like, no, y'all got 3 minutes on the timer. Let's get this shit going. It's a tournament. 3 people is going home. And I want y'all to talk trash to each other. So it's like, it's a fast-paced, exciting type of chess, and they didn't think it could be like that.
Yeah,
and
because that's not how I picture chess.
All right.
I watched that one show on Netflix. Don't remember the name.
The Queen's Gambit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I realized it could be that fast thing.
Yeah.
I always when I visualize chess, it was like slow, boring. I'm like, what was the excitement? Yeah, you're smart as fuck to have to know how to play that, but it's not exciting.
Yeah, I spend the majority of my time in Harlem playing chess with the fellas, and it's a whole chess park out there. I mean, it's a lot of us. We play for money. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of trash talking, and we don't play slow chess. Like we won't even if there's no clock involved to make the game go quickly. We don't even want to play.
What's the point?
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like. I mean, there's a point if you want to play tournaments, if you're trying to get to that point, but and we're just here to have a good time, not a long time. You know what I mean?
Like most of us.
So to go back to what I was saying, the way that they relate is because again, I'm going to inner cities, and for when I show up on the options for people to choose my class as an elective, like I ain't choosing chess, and then guess what? Towards the middle of the semester, everybody's in my class, cutting other classes to come here. And it's the same thing with BDSM. I chose a subject that most Black and brown people don't gravitate towards. I ain't into no kink. I'm not into no BDSM. That's that white people shit. You know what I'm saying? But then when I start to show you that this is something that is sensual and sexy and you can own it and make it your own, and then you're like, oh,
the level of pleasure that can be derived from that.
Yes. And they're like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. Yeah, because what they show you on television isn't the only way it's done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who controls the media? We know. So a lot of the times it's about shock value. It's about miseducation. It's about, what's going to, before viral was a thing, what's going to go viral. Yeah. Hearing that loud smack and seeing that super dominating person.
Super aggressive also.
That reminds me of something. One of the things that it kind of grinds my gears to hear. I see people in my comments say something like this, like, I'm not even a submissive, but I would do a session with you any day. And I'm like, I got a lot of work to do, because what I'm trying to teach people is not about being submissive. It's not about being a dominant or being a submissive, right? To be or to do what I do means that you are a person that likes to deliver pleasure. that doesn't mean that you are dominant per se. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different example of a person or a type of dom or type of kink. You know what I'm saying? And to enjoy this stuff done to you doesn't mean that you are a submissive. It just means that you are somebody that likes to be prioritized.
Yes.
Babe, can I just take the day off and you just worship me?
Yeah.
Does that make you submissive? No, you a boss bitch. You run a podcast. You got business. You're a mom. You do this. You do that. Like, you're not a submissive. But would you mind a massage and somebody kissing all over your body and taking their time and rubbing on you?
To fucking tell. Like,
Exactly.
from the ball spot. No, I don't have.
So yes, like the terms, we get so caught up on the terms and playing this game of like, what do we call this? You know, that it's just fucked up. It works against us. But when we open our mind to understanding the experience that relates to things instead of the terminology that's connected to it, then you know it's different.
I think when I think of teaching, I think of patience first and foremost, right? Because you have to. Sometimes it's a give and take, right? Like that person may not be so open, but you have to be patient with guiding them, right? Like I don't have patience, so
I don't have much patience. So I know where you're going with it, but that's not my style of teaching.
Oh, okay. So you're more like this is what the fuck you gonna do to
No,
me.
I'm gonna make it entertaining. That's what it is, because that's my secret weapon. If your person is having fun while they're learning, then it's and if I'm having fun while I'm teaching, I don't need to have much patience. You understand? But the minute that I'm like, oh my God, I'm hitting a brick wall, I'm like, I'm out. I'm clocked out. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, but I'm allowed to say that. Like I said, I'm allowed to be cocky, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna do my absolute best to make this a fun experience, to make it fast, and you know, it doesn't take all day and be drawn out. But the minute that I feel like I'm not making any progress and I'm just repeating myself, I'm not into that. That's not my kink.
I'm not into that. You can keep that over there, okay? I do want to ask my last question before you show me some things with, you know, all the things we got. I feel like lately I've been seeing and I guess this might be a good thing for the Black and brown community, you know, just more people talking about BDSM and being open, right? How do you feel about like people imitating you and like your style and your model of like the way you, not just the way you run your dungeon, I guess, because you wouldn't know unless if you experience that, but just like the way you talk about it, the way that you, what's the word I'm looking for?
The way I'll represent it, so to speak. I don't have much of an opinion of it. I'm kind of in a neutral place. I just hope and pray that people are using whatever impression of who I am in a positive way. And that's why it took me a very long time to get into the coaching space, because the first question that so many men, and the reason I'm pointing out men in this example is because they tend to have the most possible danger, right? And as it relates to giving danger, right, or being dangerous, the first thing that they always ask me is, how do I become a dom?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to teach you that. I don't want to teach you that. I don't want to teach you how to talk because that's a part of that is not them learning how to do this. They want to know how to get women to come to a dungeon or come to a disclosed location, or how to get women to trust them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to do what?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of responsibility that comes in this. It's a lot of trust. It's a lot of self-control. It's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, respect that's necessary in order to do this job correctly. And you shouldn't, if your intention is not good, it could be a horrible thing to empower somebody to know how to do.
Because I think when a lot of people look at like being a dom or just BDSM, it's kind of like the degradation.
Yep, you got it right. You got it right.
Which we spoke about the last time you were on the show, right? So it's kind of like you have to ensure like this is not your ego. Like this is a pleasure.
That was good.
Oh, thanks.
Don't leave with your ego. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
And it's more so like you want to pleasure someone else, right? It's not just about you. So I get the responsible part of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not teaching you. No. Like this dude, I was making content with this group of people, and one of the dudes came up to me. He was like, yo, how I get into beating bitches? And I'm like, never.
Wait, I almost spat out my water because who says that?
A lot of people. That's not the first time I've heard some variation of that question. You know what I'm saying? And he kept persisting, even though he wasn't reading the room as it related to my energy, like
Yeah.
checking out of this conversation. I don't, I've been reading the 48 Laws of Power lately, so I've been very careful about making people feel stupid about their questions and their perspectives on things. But I really wanted to check him and be like, yo, you sound stupid. You sound like an idiot right now. Like, that's not the approach that you want to
I
have.
commend you for not checking him
Yeah.
because it takes a level of like awareness to,
Yeah.
even though that may have been your first thought, to not just say it out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, it's so, and then he just kept persisting. He's like, yeah, but I'm like, that's not what I do. It's about pleasure, da 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 da. Man, he's like, yeah, but how many women you got under your spell? And I'm like,
Not a spell.
I'm like, how many? He's like, how many misses you got? And I'm like, God, bro. I'm like,
this ain't for you.
This ain't
is
for you.
not something you should be practicing.
Yeah. So, and then he tried to pedal backwards by saying, yeah, I like to give pleasure. I'm like, I'm already checked out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't make it past my vetting process for like whoever want to teach. That's why I want to do, group events and things of that nature, but then that allows access to so many people at once to just be able to come and weaponize information, so that's why.
Yeah, you can't allow that.
So to go back to your question, I'm kind of neutral as it relates to how I care about people trying to imitate me or to take what I do and use it and make it their own. And they're supposed to do that. We're supposed to do that. That's life. That's sports, that's business, that's every aspect of life, even cooking. You're supposed to use a recipe and make it better. But I just hope and pray that people are not weaponizing the information or the approach that I'm taking to get access to people and just do whatever they want to do.
I agree. All right, now for the fun part. This has all been so much fun.
Right.
However, I do want some demonstrations.
Excellent.
Things.
Excellent. Ask me a question about something and I'll give you an answer. I'm make it juicy.
You what?
I'm gonna try to make it juicy.
Oh, make it juicy. I want you.
Let's talk about that toy that you told me to pull out of my bag that I was reluctant about pulling out.
Yeah. So here he is, unpacking and unloading, and I see this thing in his bag, and I'm like, "Ooh, what's that?" Because it's just so big and massive, and I'm gonna show you guys what it is. It's this big little thing right here. There's like a. Yeah. Listen, if you're listening, you gotta come to YouTube to see what I'm talking about, because there's the hole, there's the ball sack. I'm like, what is this? Look, it's like a toy to me.
So that is called a dick sleeve. So that is something that you can actually put on your erect penis and give yourself a lot more girth or even some more length. And what I love about that is that can really help a lot of men who are struggling with the size of their penises. And because so many men don't know that something like that exists, so many women don't even know things like that exist.
I didn't know that existed. I mean, I've never been with a man who needed one, so maybe that's why, but like...
And there's another side to that. So even if a man doesn't need one, so many men have learned that pleasure about pussy is in the incorrect way. They always talk about going in and out or having the longest dick possible. Women like to feel filled.
Yes.
If you ask the woman, or I've seen many surveys of them asking women, do you want length or you want girth? And women are like, girth.
You want girth.
Yeah, I want both. But if they had to choose, they want girth. You know what I'm saying? So something like that can give you that extra girth that you need. If you're already thick, it stretches, so it's going to give you a couple of other inches in every direction, both side, left side, up, down. You know what I'm saying?
Where can I buy this? Because I think I want one.
You can go.
I don't need one.
You could go online and you could just type in dick sleeve. You can look on Etsy. You can look on Extreme Restraints. When I travel on tour, one of the things that we do as tradition, me and Siphon, is we try to visit a sex store in every city we go to, because so many different places have different things to offer. And sometimes finding things online are really convenient, but they don't provide everything.
Yeah.
We be finding some treasures, like one of those things.
I'm so excited for this.
So, ladies,
Not
if you
for
want to
me,
feel full, if you want that girth, you know what I'm saying? Tell him to put that on top of his dick. And let fellas, if you already got a big thing, imagine making it bigger and stretching that pussy out. And yes, it does pop back. So that whole, like, if you use a big toy, you're not going to ruin nobody's vagina. That's just a myth.
It's the ignorance.
It's the ignorance.
I've heard it here on my own show. So I can attest to that. I did say I like fire.
Okay.
The visual side of it. So let's get into that.
Let's see what that looks like for you, right? So I always tell people that fire play is probably one of the acts that I love the most, not because it's my favorite, but because it illustrates my style the best. I love something that is intimidating looking.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's so pretty. There's nothing intimidating about that.
What it feels like?
Yeah.
Come a little closer.
Oh.
Is that painful?
No.
So I can.
Wait, I'm actually like getting goosebumps on my upper arm because just on hair, it's actually feels really good.
Yeah.
Did you burn some of my hairs off?
Yeah, I just gave you a
I
little
can
wax.
smell it. Yeah.
So normally I would put massage oil on your body first. So if you do have any hair on your skin, So normally before I would do fire play on you, there would be a bunch of massage oil on you. So when it does heat up, if it does send some of the hair on your arms off, you won't smell that.
Okay.
So that's the way to counteract the smell.
So
I don't want you to
smell the oil.
Yeah, you smell the oil warming up,
the
right?
hair.
The lavender or the mint or the whatever the case may be.
Because once you smell hair, you're a little like.
Yeah, you start to get in your head like, oh my God. And my allergies, oh my God, make me feel like.
Trust me, like allergies is in New York. Like, please banish it.
Please.
You need natural honey. That's what not natural, sorry, local honey.
Okay, all right, I'll look into it for sure.
The next thing I want to explore is.
The gloves are another one of my favorites.
Tell me about that.
So let me pass.
Not the Drake OVO.
Not the OVO, the OVO. What he said?
OVO.
The OVO gloves.
Wait, there's like spikes on here.
Yes. So these are vampire gloves. Definitely one of my favorites because they provide a sensation. So
I'm scared.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get a little aggressive. Excuse me. So yeah, was that painful? A little bit, good. You deserve a little pain, right? And you could do that on the lower back. You could do that on the breast. You could do that on the inner thighs. You could do that on the calf muscle.
Wait, do it again.
So again, it's not. And you can add pressure, of course. You know, depending on the person's gauging, you would gauge it to see how much pressure you would want to give them. But again, when you mix this with other stimulation at the same time, that's not something I would do just by itself. I would have a vibrator on your clit or a butt plug in your ass or a gag in your mouth or a blindfold, a music playing, some rope tying you up, all of these other sensations, the lighting in the room, all of this plays a part into your mental placement at that moment. That's going to add to the experience, and then you feel that on your booty or your inner thighs.
No, I mean that did excite me.
Yeah.
I am a little crazy, as I said. But like, okay, you know what's not exciting me is that knife.
That knife? Okay.
That knife it's a little intimidating.
Good.
Like,
grab the knife, please.
May I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get it.
This. Oh my Lord, I don't know how to pass it to you.
So knife play is another sensation type of play that we do in kink. A thing that people get wrong is that they assume that these knives are as sharp as they look. This knife is actually very dull.
Okay.
It is extremely dull. They actually sell it dull.
Oh.
You know, I'm pushing pretty hard. Is that painful?
No.
All right. Even like, is that painful?
No, I would have been breathing by now.
Right. But normally what we would do is, again, you will be tied. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine that, like the inner thigh.
Exactly. So you would be tied up and, you would be blindfolded, and I would drag that across your inner thigh between your butt cheeks and things of that nature. And I'm teasing you and kissing all over you and telling you how sexy you are, how much trouble you're in for because you've been late to your session, or how bratty you were when you was in your messages and stuff like
Story
that.
Of my life.
So,
always bratty.
So again, I say all that to give you the context in which a person would use something like that, because the ignorant approach to kink is you grab a knife and you go like this. You're like, this doesn't turn me on. I'm like, bro, you're not doing it right. That's not the way you would do it. You know what I mean?
Sensual.
It's not sensual, or
before.
it is not the context.
Yeah.
So when you got all that other stuff going on, then a knife becomes even more powerful.
Got it.
You know, so.
Before we close out, I want you to choose one thing that I haven't chosen that you want me to experience.
So, this is kind of rough, but definitely my spike. My spike floggers. Can you come a little closer?
Just a little bit.
Right.
Close.
So, and that's perfect because you actually have on the type of outfit that makes it easy to access the parts of the body I want. So, floggers can be used for impact play. So I can spank you with this. It's not very painful. It looks painful, right? Because it's spiky, but it creates the illusion of pain. So I like that idea of the mental stimulation being there, because you're seeing something that looks scary, but when you feel it, touch it. Is that painful for you?
Not at all.
It's kind of playful, right? It's like a toy kind of thing, but it doesn't change the fact that if I'm like coming towards you in that direction, it kind of still gives you that like, oh my God, is it going to hurt this particular time? Yeah. But what I would use this for is for sensation play. So I can drag that across your naked body. I can, again, I can use this with a vibrator. I can put the vibrator on it and just have it vibrate on your skin. I can put it in the freezer, make it cold so you can have that cold play, or I can use it while I do fire play and I can warm it up and drag it across your body and it can feel nice and warm. I can use it with electric play, make it electrified, or I could just do this while you're blindfolded and you hear me coming and walking from room to room, and you know this is right.
But like, I know he's coming.
Yes.
But it's like, what is he about to do with that thing?
Exactly. I want to. A lot of the anticipation or the excitement or the arousal is going to be mental when you're talking about something like this, because that's the part of creating the illusion. That's why I mentioned fire play being one of my favorites, because I'm all about creating that illusion that, oh my God, this motherfucker is crazy. What the fuck you about to do with that? That's some white people shit. All of that does play in my favor to some degree. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when you feel it, it provides that mind fuck of like, yo, that's fire, but it feels good. But it's fire, but it feels good.
That's not what I was expecting.
It's not what I was expecting. But guess what? While you're saying that and having that internal conversation with yourself, you're not thinking about being a mom, respectfully, of course. You're not thinking about running your business. You're not thinking about a parking ticket or the laundry or this or that. You're thinking about,
like, you're in that moment. You're in what's about to happen.
And so many people have a hard time being in the moment.
Absolutely. And that's why they cannot perform or even enjoy the experience. And
I said this on the last podcast I was on, that's where anxiety starts to come into it, and it attacks us, and it's crazy because if you watch the new X-Men that came out on Disney Plus, X-Men 97, shameless plug because it's my favorite show right now, Storm had a moment where she was fighting with anxiety and fear and things, identity crises and stuff like that. And the way that I would bring that back to us is sexually, anxiety is the fear of something that hasn't even happened yet. Yes. You're living in the past and or the future, meaning you're living in the past, something that happened that didn't go your way and you're hoping that it doesn't happen again. Yeah. Or you're thinking about the future, disappointment, again, something that hasn't happened yet, not realizing that you have the privilege of experiencing this person right now. So make sure that we're living in the present. Make sure that if you are running out of things to say or things to think, just acknowledge what you have in front of you. I love your beautiful short haircut. I love your makeup. I love your silver pants on right now. Your toes look beautiful. You smell good. Like your beautiful chocolate skin. I love the fact that you're rubbing against me. Like you feel so good. You smell so good. I just want to eat you. I want to taste you. All of those different things. Be present. In the moment. And if you're focusing on that, saying those types of affirmations, reminding yourself what you have and where you are is going to help you stay present in that moment versus thinking, oh my God, my dick's not getting hard. Oh my God, she you know what I mean? Is she gonna be mad at me? Is she gonna be disappointed? Oh fuck, you're all in here when she's in front of you, with her busting it open for you, and you just in your head like trying to figure out something totally different. And one way that you can help with anxiety in those moments is, again, affirming them back as well. So whether you're a male or a woman, a female or a male, or non-binary, of course, affirming your partner in those moments of anxiety is super powerful. Babe, if you notice your man's not able to get an erection and, let them know right away. Like, babe, I love you regardless. That shit don't mean nothing to me right now. I know what you're capable of. I know what's going to happen once you get it up. Let's do something else. Let's kiss. Let's make out. Give them another task that they can accomplish. Dopamine is released when we feel like we're accomplishing something. So, babe, can you rub my feet? Can you kiss my lower back?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can you affirm me? Can you tell me how good I look? Can you taste me? Can you rub me? Anything that gives them another task that he's like, I got that shit. I can rub the shit out of you.
Now he's going to want to overperform on that, right?
Therefore, creating confidence.
Yeah.
Anxiety is the death of erections and arousal. So we got to make sure that we eliminate that by giving ourselves tasks that we can accomplish. And like you mentioned, we can kill that shit.
Wow.
So
that's a gem. That's some good stuff, sir. Thank you for closing us out on that note.
Thank you.
Also just like teaching people how to like get back in those moments, you know, when you do either you're soft or, you know, like things don't always go as planned. It's sex. Like,
yeah, shit. Everything's not a highlight.
People take sex too seriously sometimes. It's like,
that's a gem right there.
Like, have some fun, loosen up, laugh about it.
Laugh
you know
about
what I mean? Like, let them know when they can find you. Like,
yes. Thank you. I always forget that part. So you can go to sirmarvelous.com to follow up with everything that is marvelous, whether it be a tour, whether it be booking a session. Read my reviews on sirmarvelous.com. If you don't do anything else, read the reviews, right? But also, I have a new book out.
Yes.
I'm
glad you did not mention that when I asked what's happening.
I'm sorry. My assistant is going to kill me for that.
She is, and she should.
Yes. So I have a new book out that's called Foreplay 101, 101 Ways or Ideas that you can spice up your foreplay. You can use it as a checklist. It's only $7. The reason I chose to make it that price is that I want it to be accessible to everybody. You have to think about when's the last time that you've invested in your pleasure education. You know, we've had some variation of sex education, as bullshit as that is, but we don't have pleasure education. So a lot of these things that I listed are going to be new to you, but some of it is going to be a good reminder of shit you used to do, shit you've always wanted to do, you forgot to do, things of that nature. That way you can feel empowered the next time that you are approaching your intimacy. So the name of that book is Foreplay 101. You can check it out at sirmarvelous.com. Sign up for my mailing list. You can find me on Instagram at sirmarvelouskinks. But again, I highly recommend going to sirmarvelous.com because it has all my links there. And if you want to see some explicit content, some of my behind the scenes of what it looks like to have sessions or performances, go to my loyal fans, which you can also find on sirmarvelous.com.
I will be getting Foreplay 101. Not like I need it, but like
shit,
you can always learn more powerful, new, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much again for joining me again for the second time. I hope this is not the last time.
Definitely not.
And honesties, check out his website, sirmarvelous.com, and buy some stuff, learn some stuff, keep an open mind.
Yes.
And I shall see you all next week.
Thank you.
Bye.